Welcome back, team, and today we're here with more bands. So this is our second intermediate band workout. You can tell because it's blue. We're taking a step up from the green ones. Today's movements are a little bit more interesting. You may not crack a sweat like we do in the purple level bodyweight ones, but you do require a little bit more central nervous system, a little bit more thinking, a little bit more balance with these ones as well. So go get your bands. I've got my black middleweight one here. You can actually, if you join in on the chat that we have here on Twitch, you can see in our chat, we've got a link to purchase some bands from certain parts of the world. You get the light bands, the thin ones, all the way up to the big, thick green ones over here, which you can adjust at home based on your intensity. So I'm gonna talk through the movements real quickly. If you wanna skip straight to the workout, check the chapter markers below, you know the drill. Otherwise, first movement I'm gonna talk about is the Sumo deads with a band. So we've done some squats, we've done some deadlifts with the bands before, but what we're gonna do now is actually a Sumo deadlift. So we're gonna approximate doing your wide-legged, hip hinge, knee hinge, torso up deadlift, but we're gonna do it with the band. And the way that you can do it with the band, you actually wanna stand inside the loop, right? So you wanna pop it on the floor. So you've got equal tension on both halves of the band. But we're gonna go in this nice wide stance. So the width that you go to is so that when you do actually pop to the bottom of your sumo, you've got vertical shins here, okay? So you're gonna reach down, grab the band, chest up, pull the shoulder blades back, and from here, we're gonna use our glutes and our adductors to straighten our legs and thrust the hips forward. So you can see it's pretty much the exact same thing, the exact same movement as a barbell deadlift, but with the band now, what you're getting is that added benefit of a variable resistance. So at the bottom here, you don't have to pull too much tension up because there's not much tension on the band, but at the top, as you get stronger, it actually applies more tension. So you wanna make sure your shoulders are back, your head's upright, your torso remains mainly upright. As you pop down, you break at the hips, push the butt back, bend those knees out and push the knees out to the side. So different types of muscles that you use in a sumo as opposed to a conventional deadlift. You're gonna feel it more in the middle of your legs, and you need to use the hips to pull those knees out to the side a little bit further. Also, after sumo deads, we're gonna go with an overhead press. Now this one you do wanna start nice and light with, okay? So I'm grabbing the lightest band that I have. I'm opening the loop up, I'm standing inside the loop. This is another movement where you can actually change your resistance by spreading your legs. If you have your legs close together, you can see you're giving a lot more slack to your arms. So that's how you wanna start. We're gonna bring our arms up into, this is one thing that I see a lot. Where do I put my elbows, Jeff? Where do the elbows go, okay? So if you're doing a front squat, you actually imagine a clock face. Okay, so imagine a clock face here. With a front squat, our elbows actually go out to 3 o'clock. So it's out the front here. So the front squats that we did in the green workout, our elbows are pointing towards 3 o'clock. If we're gonna be doing a clean and jerk, so if you're actually using a barbell, doing Olympic lifting, you're gonna bring them down to 4 o'clock, right? So that's the clean and jerk elbow position, 4 o'clock. If we're gonna be doing an overhead press like we are now, we wanna bring it to 5 o'clock. So you see, 3 o'clock for front squat, 4 o'clock for clean and jerk, 5 o'clock for pressing, overhead press. So that's what we're doing. So we're gonna have those elbows pointed forward to 5 o'clock. We're gonna have the elbows flared a little bit, hands inside the band. And what we're gonna do is as we press above our head, pull the head back, press up, push the head forward, and then both arms up overhead like that. Pull the head back just slightly so you can get the band past your face, up overhead. So what's important with this one, you can see my arms are straight. My ears are almost touching my biceps. Back down to the collarbone, up and down. There we go. Good. And that's our shoulder presses. So obviously, if that's too easy for you, you have two options. You can spread the legs a little bit, give a bit more tension on the band that you're working with, or upgrade to a band with more thickness and you can have more tension to work against. So that's your overhead presses. After that, we're gonna do bent over rows. So this one, you can actually grab a nice heavy band because you're gonna find you got a bit more muscle in your rowing muscles as opposed to your overhead, right? So, standing on both sides Also, both ends of the loop here. So what you've got essentially, you've got the 2 loops on either side. We're gonna push our butt back as if we're doing a conventional deadlift. Butt back, heels flat on the floor, nice straight back here. What I'm gonna do is grab the handles, stand up to the point where my hands are at about my knees. You can see my nice straight back. I'm not curving, no curve, no curve, no curve. Pull the shoulder blades back, chest up, and you can see my eyes. I'm not looking up and I'm not looking down. I've got my neck and spine in a really nice neutral position. And from here, what I'm gonna do, keeping the elbows nice and close to my body, pull them in and down. So I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades together, keeping the elbows close to the body and then down. So all of the tension that's holding me in this bent over position is in my hamstrings and my glutes. And then all of the back muscles are what pull my fists up towards my sides and put tension on the bands there. And we're gonna repeat that out for 45 seconds. After our bent over rows, we're gonna do calf plantar flexions. Okay, so plantar flexions. This is another fancy name for calf raises, but we're not gonna be raising ourselves. Because sometimes, just doing this for a lot of reps is a bit heavy, especially if you are carrying a bit more body mass. You're working against gravity. So one way you can actually make it a little bit easier, if you take a seat, using the band, wrap it around your feet, and from here, what you can do, put as much or as little tension as you need, press and back, press and back. So the cool thing about this is that you can adjust the tension almost to like the Newton level, right? So you're gonna be pulling, using your calves, pulling back. And the other thing is that you can actually get into a nice good stretch as well. So as well as using your calf to actually contract and pull the band across, you can actually get a really good stretch on the calf. So this is a really, really good one for the runners out there because we're gonna get a dynamic stretch and then we're gonna put a lot of power into pulling it forward as well. So cool, that's our plantar flexions. After that, we're gonna do scarecrows. So this is an intermediate one. We got some fun little movements here. With a scarecrow, what we're looking to do is work our external rotators. So the muscles that don't get a good looking into. I know when you go to the gym, a lot of the time people are doing presses, a lot of time doing pulls. What we don't see a lot of are the things that can potentially lead to shoulder issues if you don't work them enough. External rotation. So that's what we're gonna do. Very, very light band. Standing on it in the open loop, we're gonna have our arms basically like at shoulder height, 90 degrees in the elbows like this. And what we're gonna do is rotate around the shoulder, keeping the elbow in the exact same spot, rotate up until we're up in this flat position and then down. So up and down. Now you see what we're doing from this position? We're basically turning ourselves into a scarecrow. Down, scarecrow, up and down. So what this is working, a couple of little muscles that some people can't pronounce, the supraspinatus and the teres back here. They're responsible for the external rotation of around the shoulder, and they will prevent some shoulder injuries later on if you do this properly, if you do it a lot and properly. Cool. So scarecrows. After that, we've then got single leg dead curls. So single leg deadlifts. I think you guys remember how we do these ones. So what we're gonna be doing is starting off with the band doubled under a foot, okay? We're gonna be holding the band in our hands like this, nice and straight down. So you can see what's happening. As we go down, we're going to basically zero tension. We're gonna apply a little bit of tension as we get to the top, but then when we get to the top, we're gonna curl that up. So it's a single leg down, bring it to the top, balancing on one foot. And as we balance, we're gonna bring those biceps up. So we're getting a double, there's a twofer, that last movement. We're gonna go on one side, gonna go on the other side. You're getting the glutes and the hamstrings and the stability in one foot, plus the biceps working. So let's start this workout. Get your watches into the right mode. For me, it's just the cardio, just the heart rate tracking. Press go. So we're gonna kick this off with our sumo deadlifts. Remember how we start this one off? Lay the band on the floor. And then we're gonna stand on the band, inside the loop. We wanna hinge at the hips. We wanna push our knees out to the side, reach down for the band, grab the band, and we're not gonna let go now. So now we're gonna thrust our hips forward, keeping our chest and our shoulders upright, pull the shoulders back. You see I'm pushing the knees out as well. So I'm not squatting, right? I'm actually hinging at the hips, pushing the knees out to the sides, pulling up, away from the floor, and thrusting my hips forward. Breathing's pretty important with this too, by the way. You see, I'm breathing in before I lower myself, and I'm breathing out as I raise the band. There we go, cool. I think that beat was a bit better. We're gonna go for overhead presses now. It's 45 seconds of each of these. If you feel like you wanna get a bit more of a workout, you can definitely pause the video and keep on going, get some more reps in. But we do have 4 rounds of this to do, remember? So in 12 seconds time, we're gonna be resuming the workout here with our overhead presses. I'm starting with a light band with this one. And you remember what I was saying, elbows at that 5 o'clock position out in front of us, press overhead and down. With shoulder stuff, you always wanna start off nice and light, by the way. So this first round that we're doing, a nice warm-up round, pressing up overhead. Overhead shoulder work is one of the things that a lot of people just don't have the mobility for. A few reasons for that. We've stopped doing a lot of hanging. We don't actually hang from bars or hang from trees anymore. Just ancestrally speaking, we came out of the trees and stopped hanging from them. But we also, as we grow up, we stop playing with monkey bars and whatnot. So it's actually really, really good to get some just overhead work done in a nice light and controlled fashion like this, whether it's hanging from a bar or just using a nice soft band to start doing some reps. So even just 45 seconds of that with this yellow band for me, is starting to feel a bit of a burn across the front here, and that's what I wanna go for, doing that one. So the next movement, bent over rows, I'm gonna upgrade. First round, so we're still actually just warming up with this one. Red band. Now for this one, we are stepping on both sides of the band. And again, you can change the resistance that you're working against with this one by actually going a bit wider. I'm gonna start off with shoulder width, popping down to the bottom of a deadlift there. I'm gonna row up. So all of the tension in the hamstring and the glutes is what's keeping us bent forward. Nice straight back, keeping the elbows really, really close to your body and squeezing those shoulder blades together. Cool. So for this first round, don't worry about how fast or how slow you're going, just focus on the movement. Make sure you're actually really, really concentrating on how you're working the muscles, how they're moving, how the joints are moving, how your grip's going, how you're holding yourself in this bent over position. 3, 2, 1. Good, take a rest. Nice. Okay, we've got the plantar flexions coming up. I'm gonna start with the yellow band with this one. Nice light band. So take a seat. This one sometimes is easier with bare feet, by the way, because with shoes, you can see the rubber can sometimes flick up and over, but you're gonna find a nice position where you can actually get all the angles in the calves that you can. So you wanna pull back to the point where you're getting a nice stretch on the calves and then push forward. Just raise it a little bit so you get a bit more power. Good. So just really flex those calves. The opposite to a plantar flexion is also called it's called a dorsiflexion, and that would be the opposite way. So if I had a band attached to something in front of me, and I was using that band to resist against me pulling the toes towards my body, that would be called a dorsiflexion. And that would be working a completely different muscle. Actually be the muscles on the front of your shins, which are pretty important. Bark, bark. Lots of barking today. All right, after our calf plantar flexions, we've got the Scarecrows. I'm keeping this yellow band on me, because this one's very, very important for the shoulders. Now again, I apologize if this isn't the intensity that you envisioned, but I'm not gonna be sorry for later on in life when you find that your shoulders don't have problems from doing these movements. So we've got the 90 degrees in the elbows, and as we do this, you know you're doing them right if the band doesn't touch your head. Sometimes I see people do these and they kind of like, they do that. It's like, what's going on? Why is the band touching my head? It's because you're not holding your elbows up at the same height as your shoulders, and you're not pulling them back so that you're standing up in a straight plane here. So 90 degrees in the elbows, keeping the elbows exactly where they are at that height of your shoulders, and we're rotating in the shoulder joint itself. And we're fighting against the tension of the band. It's this external rotation. That's what we're trying to do, is just use those tiny little muscles to help stabilize our overhead presses. So what's gonna happen essentially, after you do a few rounds of these Scarecrows, you might actually feel like you can do stronger overhead presses because you're now a little bit more stable with those muscles. Cool, we've got our, again, keeping on the yellow bands because we've got our single leg deadlifts. We're gonna start off with the left-hand side. So I'm gonna stand on it with the left foot. Standing up. So there's tension in the band already here. We're gonna kick it back with the right leg, all the way down until our hands get below our knees. Standing up straight, and then curl. So single leg dead, down, up, and curl. If you can reach your toes, please do. Tap, stand up straight. Don't let that right leg touch the floor. See, my right foot hasn't touched the floor at all. Keep the hips squared away, perform a curl. Down, bring it up, and perform a curl, good. Up, and curl, nice. Good, swap sides, we've got a 30-second rest. We're gonna do the right-hand side. I think there's another bork across the road as well. Bork. Cool, okay. Here we go. 10 more seconds. So I'm just gonna stand up here, get ready for it. I'm looking out to something in front of me. You see, what am I looking at? I don't know, it's the wall. That's what's gonna help me keep my balance with this one. So there we go. Left foot off the ground, reaching down, touch that foot, fight against the band as you stand up straight, and then curl. Good. So where am I feeling this? The glutes, the hamstrings. Oops, my left foot touched. And then the biceps as well. Keeping the hips squared away. When I say squared away, what that means is that my hips don't rotate like this as I go down. You see, both of my feet are actually pointing in that one direction there. Both pointing forward. Bring it up and perform a curl. Good. Got 10 more seconds. Bring it up. Good. 1 minute rest. How are we all feeling? So that was the first round. So what I'm gonna do now is assess how I think I went with those movements and upgrade the bands as I need to. I'm feeling pretty good with these ones. Just gonna put the fan on a little bit. It has warmed up just a touch. So the first movement we've got are the Sumo deads. I'm gonna upgrade to a purple with this one because I feel like I can do a little bit more work with this. There we go. So 30 more seconds. Have a think about how your balance is. The resistance band is a really good way to throw you off in a good way, if that makes sense. So you can actually do a lot of movements with resistance bands. One of the things that we'll go into in the purple level workouts is taking standard movements, applying a band attached to a rig or attached to something above you, and changing the way that the force is applied. Because normally, like with this, we're actually working against gravity and that's it. But now, with the band, we can actually apply the force in all sorts of other directions. So now I've got my knees pushed out to the sides, shoulders back. That's a little bit more work, isn't it? So from the floor, it's actually the same amount of effort because there's no tension on the floor, but it gets stronger over less distance with a heavier band. And that's what we're fighting for. So So glute activation. Here we go, bring that up. 5 seconds. Nice, good. Okay, we've got the overhead presses. So I feel like after the first set of Scarecrows, I can bring the effort up on this one a little bit. We're gonna go to the red bands from here. So, let's bring my feet closer together. So you don't want to do both. You don't want to upgrade the band and also spread your feet because you're doing a double up there and you might actually apply too much tension. So feet closer together when you upgrade the band. Bringing the hands up into that 5 o'clock positioning and press up overhead. There we go. So it can take a little bit of work to get used to how the bands sit on the sides of your arms, but all of the effort should be going into raising this up above your head with straight arms. And remember the cues there. Shoulders back, shoulders depressed, pressing up above your head, straight arms, so the ears are basically in between your biceps. So we can speed it up a little bit. If you feel like your form's on point and there's no pain, speed it up against the force of the band there. Good. This is still the second round, so remember, we are in the intermediate level. We do want to test ourselves a little bit. After that, we've got the bent over rows. So that's going to purple as well. I'm gonna upgrade that one. Shaking it out, getting ready. Standing on both sides. So I like to start in the squat here because what we can do, as we straighten the legs up, we brace the core, get into the bottom of a deadlift here, and then row up. So with these ones, you want to be lifting with power. So go up, powerful, and then a nice controlled descent. So power up, and then let it down slowly. With the number of reps that we're doing, you're going to be building probably strength and muscle size with this one. I'd probably say less about muscle size because we're doing a bit more rep, but we're going to be building some good strength with this. And that's one of the things that we do exercise for, is to strengthen our bodies, especially these back muscles. So when I say back muscles as well, I'm talking about the upper back muscles with the row. I'm also talking about the glutes and the hamstrings, so the posterior chain here. Should note, if you're feeling anything in your lower back when doing those movements, stop what you're doing and just figure it out, shake it out, reassess your form. Join our Discord, shoot me a message if you want and we can check your form because you shouldn't be feeling it in the lower back here, okay? So we're at plantar flexions, going into the red band now. So looping it. And remember, you don't always have to be going up. If you feel like last time you did a movement with a band, maybe your form was suffering. Maybe you feel like you weren't doing it properly. Maybe you were feeling your lower back. What that could be a sign of is that you're trying to use too heavy a band, too heavy a weight. Very similar to if you were in a gym and you had dumbbells or a barbell and you feel like, oh man, that squat felt funny. Didn't feel right, my knees felt weird. I could see in the mirror there that my form was off. Then drop the weight. Same deal with these bands. Go to a lighter band. Awesome. They're feeling good, those calf muscles. Feel great. All right, Scarecrows. I am sticking with the yellow band because this one's all about mobility. And it didn't actually take a lot to work those external rotators. So the yellow band is fantastic for this one. What I might do though, is spread my feet a little bit. Just get a bit more tension in the band here. So rising them up to 90 degrees. See how my biceps are at 90 degrees to my spine, but then also my forearms are at 90 degrees to my biceps or to my humerus, that upper arm bone. Keeping my shoulder blades depressed. I don't want to be pushing my neck forward either. I noticed I just did that there slightly. So standing tall, squeezing the butt, pulling the shoulder blades back and down. So retracted and depressed, they're the words that we use. pulling it up.
Let's get this thing off the ground.
Good. 10 more seconds there, let's go. Awesome, awesome. Keep it going. How are we all feeling? Check in with me if you're in chat doing the workout, let me know. We've got the single leg deads now, so I will be upgrading to the red so we can get a little bit more bicep happening. So start off holding at the ends like this. Left foot first. So I'm gonna pop both sides down, standing on that, and then up straight. So we've got tension on the band already. This tension's gonna pull us down towards the floor. So you're gonna be careful when you're doing the deadlift portion. Don't let the band throw you off. And then from here, biceps. Nice. Now, just because my biceps aren't strong enough, this is the heaviest band that I'm gonna use. When you do the biceps as well, keep the elbows tucked into your sides. You don't want the elbows flaring up. We're not doing a shoulder press or a shoulder raise. It's all biceps. Nice. One more. Cool. Shake it off. Good. This is the second round. We're nearly halfway through this workout now. Catch your breath if you need to. Roll those shoulders. Hopefully you're feeling the shoulders are getting a nice workout today. A little bit more. Look, I don't know, Grace. I'm looking at the time. Might Zwift. Yeah. May or may not. What are you thinking? I can raid. So right foot now. I do have Zwifting in my program for today. When's my first session? 12 o'clock.
We've got a hot one for you.
So I probably have plenty of time. It's an 8-kilometer slow run, easy run. Oh, okay. Yeah, no stress. Okay then, I'll remove that from the title of the stream and I'll come out and have a look. Good. All right, we've got a minute rest. Minute rest. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Here we go, cool. All right. We're going back. We're going back to the start. This is our third round now. So really, really challenge yourself. This is our working set. You should have had 2 practice rounds now to get it sorted. You'll get it sorted, Grace? Let me know. We'll see how we go. Okay, sumo deads. I'm gonna go up to my green band, okay? Oh, okay, no stress. Well, look, that's fine. I thought maybe you were like, hey, it's not working, so what time are you finishing so you can help me with it? That's what I thought. That's fine. But yeah, no, I'm good. All right, let's go. Green band. Well, that's a time. Hello. This is good. If you've got a mirror, watch your knees. You want to make sure your knees are pointing out to the sides. You're using your glutes and your adductors. This is good heavy band. Yep, I like this. Awesome. Overhead press, let's go. What did I use last time? Red band. I'm gonna stick with the red band because for me personally, haven't mentioned this on stream yet, but I'm having some issues with my right shoulder. It's not really shoulder. It's a weird clavicular thing here, which I think might be the pec minor. But shoulder presses do kind of get it little bit twingy. Press. So that pace that we were at last time, I want you to work at that now. So if your form is good and you don't feel any pain normally, I don't feel any pain as I raise it above leg like that. It's only when I do something silly like move my neck around, little bit sore there. This is a good pace because I'm not losing control of the band. I'm not losing control of where I'm meant to be. Pushing my arms around. Cool, good. You might have to get paranormal sight. If you're not following Grace yet, what's wrong with you? Number one. Number two, you should follow her because she's been playing a very cool game. I've not watched so much of it, and I'm not one of those people that's actually gonna jump into a stream, having never watched any of it, knowing that she's probably played about 50 hours of something, and be like, oh hey, tell me about the game. What's this game about then? What's all this about? Because it'd be like walking into Terminator 2 or, like Scream 3 and say, hey, what's Scream about then? You're in a Star Wars Episode 6. Tell me what's happened up until this point. Tell me what's happened here. It's a bit of a silly thing to do. So I wouldn't do that. You were thinking about it all day yesterday, Funky Smell? I've played a lot of those games when I was younger. There was a lot of, when I was more of a weeb, I played a lot of those manga games and anime games where it was like a deep, heartfelt story, and then they put it into game form. So here we go. Plantar flexions, let's go. But from the scenes that I have seen of that game, Grace, can you recommend me more? It's my first one, can you recommend me? Oh, it's on Android as well. Yeah, see, those sorts of games really do, they really do translate well to portable devices. And I mean, not to denigrate or to be, I don't want to sound like I want to offend anyone, but the market that those sorts of games do go to, in Japan at least, they do often market those sorts of games to like your single men. So when you are commuting, or when you're kind of just like, doing single man stuff, they can sit and watch them without needing to do too much else. So yeah, Scarecrows, let's go. But I like the style of how they actually get in a position. These ones are quite important, so I don't want to muck these ones up. The way that they've made the 2D and the 3D kind of the 2D and the 3D meld and mix. If you're on the train, you'd miss every stop. You just get stuck. You get pulled into it. So this is one that I do want to focus on. I'm thinking about my shoulders. I'm thinking about every little muscle that it takes to rotate my shoulder around in that socket, in that joint. Because your shoulder is a complex socket. It's not like a hip joint, where the hip joint is just like the top of your femur, one bone, into a socket. The hip is a nice socket joint. The shoulder, on the other hand, is the top of your humerus, the tuberosity at the top of your humerus, and it kind of meets at the same point that your clavicle and your scapula meet. It's a weird little intersection there with lots of crazy muscles that help it turn in lots of different directions. So you look after it. Yeah, single leg dead curls. Back to our red mate, red friend. Oh, you call those men pencils? Okay, gotcha. I see what you did there. Okay, let's go. I was thinking about pencils and I fell over. Curl. Touch the toes, bring it up, nice and controlled, and then a big control curl. Good. So if there's anything you take from today, it's this bicep curl. Nice, nice. Good, take a rest. We got another bicep curl to do. Right hand side legs, so right hand side glute, right hand side hamstring. Both biceps with your band here. Shake it out. If you're feeling any kind of muscles that are a little bit tight, just shake them out. It's okay in this workout. We've got time to rest, got time to catch ourselves. You can see here my heart rate hasn't really gone up too much. It's an intermediate workout, yes, but what I'm treating it like is a little bit more like a weightlifting session where we're actually focusing on the movement. Body weight workouts, you kind of get to a point where there's not a lot you can do in terms of fighting against gravity and doing resistance work. You can obviously do time under tension when you hold certain positions, but one of the things that I like to focus a bit more on with body weight workouts is the intensity of your heart rate. So we move faster, we jump higher, we call for more power, call for more speed. The fourth PC freeze? Oh no. Look, I know you've probably already done these, Grace, but I'm just gonna rattle through my head the things to check. Windows updates, video driver updates, check device manager, see if there's anything with a little yellow exclamation mark next to it. Turn off any other bits of like programmatic stuff that's running. So you just have a look in your system tray, close anything. Yeah, okay. The other thing that you could do is downgrade video drivers. It might actually work better with older drivers, potentially. Put the feet inside. We're doing our sumo deads. The other thing that you might want to do, Grace, have a look through the actual game settings when you're in the game, and have a look for any sort of settings that call upon strange hardware stuff. Okay. So things like if it's trying to do DLSS or if it's trying to do triple filtered buffering, see if you can turn all of those down. It locks up on the menu. Yuck. Look, I might have to stop stream after this. We'll go have a look at it. Next movement, overhead press. Let's do it. Let's bump ourselves up. This is the fourth round. So please, I want you to put a little bit more effort into this. For those of you watching at home on YouTube. So remember, those elbows are out at 5 o'clock. Yeah, this is a good weight. It's challenging. I'm standing up nice and tall, squeezing the butt. See, like those rows, I'm actually using a lot of power, pressing up, and then nice slow descent, okay? Press up fast, slow descent down. Up fast, slow descent. There's a lot of work going in these shoulders. Ah, good. I was waiting for that beep. Lady, how you going? Oh, good. Good, good, good. You can see the sweat beading. Now, like I was saying before, this is not about stupid, high intensity, fast heart rate. This is about the coordination and the strength required to push ourselves into different positions. It's a skill thing. Today's workout is a skill issue, not speed, not heart rate, okay? What do we got? We got bent over rows. I was just talking about them. Okay, both hands in the handles in each side, standing there, nice wide. I'm gonna go wider because I want a little bit more work. 4th round, let's go. Oh, that's hard. Back remains straight. Power is in the glutes and the hamstrings and the shoulder blades. All the muscles around my shoulder blades. So the rhomboids, the traps, even the lats are working here. The rear delts are working, the back of my shoulders. Power up, slowly descend down. Good, 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 good. Awesome. Tell you what, Grace, I'm feeling the core from the kayaking yesterday now as well. Starting to feel that. Kitty, how you going? How's things? Plantar flexions with the band. So red band, I'm gonna get a little bit more tension on this one, okay? Yeah, your core is dead. Is a good one. Okay, pulling back a little bit more. I want more stretch. I want more power. So both calves. So you see I'm doing 2 legs with this one, but if you find you're someone, and you'll often find this if you're a runner, sometimes you can feel that one ankle or one calf needs a little bit more work than the other. This is a really good movement you can do with just a single leg. If you've got an ankle or one calf or one Achilles that needs some rehab or strengthening, you can actually help to balance out your anatomy with single leg work. Thanks for the follow. How are you? Finish that off, 30 seconds rest. Nice, we got Scarecrows. Dropping back down to this yellow because this one's about mobility as opposed to power or speed. Welcome in, new friend. We are doing a band workout. If you don't own bands, definitely something you can pick up. We've got a link, I'll chuck it in chat in a second. But first, I've got Scarecrows to do. So now, my arms are out, flat, parallel to the floor. I've got 90 degrees in my elbows, rotating up and down. Up, down, make a nice tempo with this one. There you go, thanks, Grace. So if you're in Australia, we've got a link, and if you're in the US, we've got a link. If you're outside of those regions, sorry, we don't have affiliate links for them, but you can probably find something very, very similar on the internet. We do live in a pretty good time for home gym equipment. Pre-COVID, we're in a slightly different situation, but what actually happened, COVID, it lit a fire under gym equipment manufacturers' butts. And what they did was they actually made a lot more higher quality equipment for people to use at home, because a lot of gyms closed down and some people still wanted to get their workouts in. So you'll actually find that the quality of bands that you can get from pretty much any of the suppliers, they're all very similar and they're all very high quality these days. So it's very good things. Okay, single leg dead curls. This is the last double movement, the last set of movements we're doing here. I'm holding the red band under my left foot. I'm gonna take the tension in that, standing up straight. Right foot comes off the floor. We're gonna do that single leg dead, so keeping the hips square. That right leg goes back behind me. I'm using the drinky bird muscles, the glutes and the hamstrings to drive myself up, and then the bicep curl, using those 2 glamour muscles on the fronts of your humerus bones that are used to hinge your elbow in the flexion direction. So not only is it doing a set of muscles, which I know a lot of people like to have, like to work their biceps, but it's also doing a really interesting thing in terms of balance. So for those of you that are doing this at home, you can nod your head and go, yeah, it's true. You're standing up. As soon as you put tension on the band on one leg, it throws your balance off a little bit. And that's what you're finding again. So it's not only the biceps, the glutes, the hamstrings, it's all the muscles around your ankles too. Again, if you're a runner, all of these little things that I'm throwing in for our friends at home that are training for runs, these are all very good for runners. All very stable. Okay, here we go. Single leg dead, hamstrings, glutes, balance, curl. Nice. Balance properly, get your breathing right. Saved it. That was better. One more. We've got time for one more. And that, my friends, is our second intermediate level band workout. So again, that wasn't about heart rate, that wasn't about going fast and hard. That one was about skill. It was a skill issue. So see how you go with that. If you find that was too easy, then check out the purple ones that are coming. Otherwise, you can do it again. You can do this one, you can do the other blue one that we did previously. Feel free to stick them together if you've got the time. Because especially with that sort of thing, if you've got the time in your day, it will always help just to do more work then. So if you'd like to catch us live, twitch.tv/fit for purpose. We'll see you Adelaide mornings, weekday mornings. Otherwise, see you in the next YouTube video. Bye.